The pen is back. Today, I want to talk about remarketing. A very common practice, usually the first ads that somebody will run when setting up an ad account. And I want to talk specifically about two different things. One, thinking about creative messaging for remarketing as it relates to your sitemap, and then how we think about attribution as it relates to remarketing. So first, the sitemap. So when I say a sitemap, what I mean is if you were to build a tree of every page of your website, there are two important considerations when thinking about remarketing and what kind of creative to use in remarketing. And the primary question is, what page did people leave your website on? So in this case, we've got an example of a website. In this case, a very simple website with 5 different pages. You have the home page, you have an about page, you have an FAQ page, you have a category page, and you have a PDP or product display page. Now, we know something unique about each person depending on which page of the websites they visited and left. And thinking about that as it relates to your remarketing creative is really, really critical. So I'll give you a distinction. If somebody comes to your home page and then leaves, what we know about them is that they are still in the general consideration phase. They never made it even to look at individual products. So you don't know which product to show them. You don't know even necessarily what their level of interest is. But at this point, you're still in a generic consideration phase. And the advertising then has to be broad-based, meaning that you cannot specifically message even gender necessarily. You could if you broke out your funnel, but you can't talk specifically about a product or category page. Whereas if someone chooses a category page, let's say you're an apparel brand and this is pants, okay? You know that this person specifically considered pants. So now you could potentially serve a UGC about pants, a customer testimonial specifically about that product. And now let's say they looked at specifically a pair of denim jeans. Now I can serve them a very, very specific review about a product. So now just consider the different levels where right now, in most cases, what I see is everybody lumps all their website traffic. They take the entire audience and they call it WCA 30 or website custom audience 30. And they take everybody who's been to their website and they serve them the same next ad. What I would encourage you to do instead is consider which page they left on and break down your remarketing into sections on your website. So what we'll often do is have home visitors, category, PDP, and abandoned cart, breaking the website into 4. And then if you have a website that gets a ton of traffic, you can add in pages like your about page. So you know something about this person that's really unique. They're interested in the why. Interested in why you exist. If they read your about page, they're expressing something about themselves that allows you to consider the kind of advertising you do for them. So rather than thinking about remarketing as one bucket, people have been to your website, break it apart into a tree and consider where they came from. And then as you even get more sophisticated, the next layer is to consider what they came in on. Where did they start? And what was the ad that they saw? And you can think about what we call marketing sequencing. In other words, what's the order in which you would see in ad 1, in ad 2, and ad 3? So you can think about, relative to where they came in, the next message you would want to show them based on where they depart. So my encouragement is move away from the single idea of remarketing to all website traffic as if they're the same and put them into component pieces. One really easy hack for this is that most people on the abandoned cart and the DPA level use product feeds, right? What Facebook calls dynamic product ads, okay? So basically you allow Facebook to say anybody who has viewed content on an individual product page or added something to cart, show them ads with those specific ads. Well, what I would encourage you to do is move your DPA, your dynamic product ads, up one more layer. Build categorical product feeds, and use DPA on the category page level as well. So rather than category pages, which are normally in the general remarketing budget, use them in DPA. So sitemap informs specificity. Sitemap informs specificity. Okay, that's point one with remarketing. Specific creative relative to specific on-site behaviors. Then the next thing is attribution. I want to give you just a view of how we view thinking about attribution on Facebook. If we are prospecting, and when we define prospecting, we say excluding existing customers and excluding website custom audience or website traffic. So prospecting for us is purely, totally net new customers that have not been to the website yet or existing customers. For this view of audience, we are very comfortable with the default 28-day click, 1-day view attribution model that is Facebook's standard view. But as we move into the remarketing level and we start considering website traffic, now we're looking at website traffic and we're excluding existing customers. Now we want to tighten the attribution model. So generally speaking, we'll look at specifically a 7-day click view of your remarketing. We want to make sure that if we are going to count an attribution once somebody has been to the website, that it is because they have clicked on the ad. And then finally, all the way at the DPA level, which is usually PDP viewers and abandoned carts, add to cart, we want to look at a really tight window, because otherwise what will begin to happen is that you will begin to over-assign view conversions, which are much more likely to show up in these buckets to these. So if you want to think about standard attribution for each of these, this is how we would think about this. And this informs then the optimization as well as the reporting on these channels. So if you go into Facebook, you can choose how you want Facebook to optimize, whether it's on a 1-day click or a 7-day click. 7-day click, 7-day click, 1-day view here, 7-day click here, 1-day click here. And again, this is attribution or reporting versus optimization, two different parts of Facebook. So all of this will help to inform your remarketing to ensure you are analyzing it more specifically in terms of attribution and reporting, as well as specifically messaging more in creative. Enjoy.